Thank you very much, Charlie, for the introduction. So, as you can see, my title is about hope. And you have to pardon the slides, they were done very hastily, but we'll talk about hope and that should take care of it. So, the motivation is basically twofold. I'm somebody who's very hopeful and I wanted to work on something that I really care about. And secondly, it also just happens to be the thing that the whole world is residing on now. So, clearly, it's something very useful and important. So quickly jumping on another important facet is that even though this is something that we use in our everyday life, we use the word hope a lot, there's not even a definition for hope in economics. So how I contribute is I find this definition of hope, which I picked from positive psychology, and I introduce it in the broader frame of economics. What I do is I see hope as a function of agency, which is the intrinsic motivation that one has, and multiple different pathways, the routes that you can find to reach a particular goal. And central to this is goal. I use a randomized controlled trial setup in which I randomize individual students in primary schools in India, where I expose them to a feature film that I hired a production team to produce in India. The simplest idea being what we see has an influence on us, and the whole movie is aimed to bombard these students with a lot of optimism. And the whole hypothesis is that if you increase, or if you can measure hope and increase it, what would be the consequence of doing so, and in the process proving that hope actually matters. And what I do find is that by exposing these kids for a 30-minute long video, it increased their optimism, it made them more happy, more hardworking, and increased their learning outcomes. And on a broader scale of things, where this contributes is to the bigger question of whether poor people are poor because of bad luck or bad choices. The simplest idea being that if you go to a slum and ask a kid what they aspire to be, they wouldn't say that they want to be a doctor or an engineer, and they wouldn't even think about themselves being able to achieve something like that because of this inherent aspiration failure. This poverty stifles their hope, leading to a hopelessness-based poverty trap, which leads them to put in less effort in the present because they cannot think or aspire of themselves to become somebody great, and leading on from that, lower performance. What I do here, I can find a way to increase hope. I also find that if you increase hope, it increases student effort. Over time, their performance, which can act as a positive feedback to their future hope, creating this virtuous cycle that can bring people out of this poverty trap in a very simple yet equally profound way. That's all, guys. Thank you very much.